What's up, race fans? It's 7 o'clock. It's Thursday, and that means it's time for the Thursday Night Throttle live on Topo Racing Media, presented by ELH Detailing and Federated Auto Parts. This is your look ahead to the weekend events in the Topo Racing network of tracks and your look around Michiana Motorsports. My name is Buju, live from South Bend, Indiana. And before we bring in our fearless leader and my co-host, we do have a couple big guests tonight to talk a couple of the big shows coming up this weekend. We have Kenny Head from the Mini Wedge program to talk what they got going on, as well as Bennie Miller from the Miller Motorhead Mafia to talk about their big show this weekend up at Corrigan Oil.
Yeah.
But as always, joined by, like I said, our fearless leader and the man on the top row himself, Lewis Noakes. How we doing tonight, Lewis?
Oh, good. Their graphics didn't load, and I was
That's
trying,
all
and they
right.
just keep spinning. So I'm like, well, Buju, you're just gonna see faces. But I know Kenny's getting set up because I resent the link to him. I thought, oh, I sent him the Monday one, but I didn't. I looked. I'm like, nope, it was the right one. And but yeah, no, I was doing some math as I was telling you about to see how many featured laps or just races, 4 full programs and 80, what was it, 67 onboard cameras since Kalamazoo Clash. So that's 645 laps of racing that I edited, and then for a lot of drivers, that's doing it over and over and over and over again. So that's what we call busy. But the Clash, or not the Clash, excuse me, the Mini Wedge program has just been sitting on YouTube all day. It is done. It's going to publish at 7:30 when Kenny is logging off with us, and so I figure that's a nice little carrot.
Yeah.
Hey, watch us, and then you can watch the Mini Wedge program. So, but yeah, I mean, that's a quick turnaround.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. A lot of laps last weekend, and then heading into a big weekend this weekend. It doesn't slow down a whole lot for you. So
No, and so again, for those who may have missed it for whatever reason, obviously not Kalamazoo Clash, excuse me, Summer Sizzler, Saturday. I think we're up to 24 Outlaw Late models right now, if I saw the entry list correctly. We had 28 at Kalamazoo, so I figure Kalamazoo had the largest outlaw show in the area. That's what Matt Prier was mentioning, is with 28. So I thought, all right, we got 24 for Sizzler. Big names coming down. The race for the Rookie of the Year is between Racing Mason and Chloe, who we just had on Monday. Yep. So it's coming down to those two. And then, of course, you got the Mini Wedges at Kalamazoo with their huge show, the Quicksilver. And Kenny Head will be talking all about that here in a few minutes. And then Corrigan Oil has the Harvest. And we got championships tomorrow night to be settled at Kalamazoo with a couple still on the line. Couple decided, couple still on the line. So I think just like last year, the late models are going to come down to the feature. And so that's going to be pretty exciting to see how that all shakes down.
Yeah, like you said, there's just almost too much to comprehend what's going on this week. All that you mentioned, and I'm managing to be somewhere else that's not even those. So just way too much happening this weekend to even to wrap it into a quick little segment before Kenny comes on. It's almost impossible to talk about how much is going on this weekend, just because this is what it all comes down to, and it's here now. So.
Well, and that's where I want to bring our question in, because that kind of leads me to our question. First, I do want to do another shout out. I want to make sure that I say this correctly, although I think it's going to be correct. But, the last time we were on the show, which is a few weeks ago, I had just crossed 4,000 followers on YouTube. And the YouTube has kind of been slow but steady. 4,100. I mean, it just keeps going up, and it's 60 away from 200. So it's pretty incredible. That's where I definitely, again, I appreciate it, right? Facebook is obviously the mothership, but, to have YouTube up and, all the Mini Wedge kids had a chance to watch them. And I'm looking at some of the numbers, and some of those Mini Wedge kids have way more views than some of our Clash racers. Yeah. And so I thought, all right, that's cool that they're getting that. And of course, the kids like watching themselves on the TV too. So, but where you're kind of going with so much to do is, here's our question of the night, the throttle response. Every year, drivers talk about, I'm not points chasing next year, or they have the goal of winning a points championship. So I thought, to get us going, does points racing still matter? Does it get too stressful as a driver and share all the thoughts, all the feelings, all the things that go with that. So, again, don't forget, you can also send us your questions to use on the show here in the pit box. And so we're going to put a pin in that thought so we could bring
Good.
Kenny before Kenny talks about, because they just had their championship on Sunday for the
Uh-huh.
mini wedges. But, it was 1 year this past Saturday, if I remember correctly, that Kenny had was doing donuts on the front stretch as he closed out his racing career at Kalamazoo. Um, so that's where, he did points racing for a long time. So maybe as part of that pin before we talk about Quicksilver, he can give us his thoughts on points racing, because
Yeah.
now, obviously he runs a program that's doing points racing. His son is racing street stocks, doing that. He has his brother who's racing and nephews and all the things. So lots of heads everywhere. So if you're ready, we could go ahead and jump to the promoter's point. Oh, that's starting grid. Wrong one. Oh, I did the wrong graphic. So we'll go back to the pit box. It's supposed to be a promoter's point, but that also, it's just spinning right now. I don't know what's going on. But let's go ahead and let's bring on Kenny Head to talk about not only Quicksilver, but maybe, Kenny, you can start us off with what you think about points racing.
You, I ran for many years for the points, and it gets stressful. You got to be at every race, and you got to perform every race. Back years ago, Gary Howe and we tied for a championship in 1997, and there was actually that year I want to say there was 23 or 25 cars that had perfect attendance, and that was a tough. I mean, that was a big accomplishment for me. Won my first championship in '99, a second one in 2020, and then a third one in 2006, and a fourth one in 12. Um, love love the love the points chasing when you're younger. I stopped chasing points about 8 years, about 6 7 years before we quit racing or whatever. And I can tell you, it's a lot more fun. It's a lot less stressful, and you can go to the track and you can race for the checkered flags and not worry about
Yep.
if you don't have a great car and you just got to make the best of it. You don't have to do that anymore. I mean, it's a stressful deal, and uh, it's not for everybody. I'll tell you that. It's not fun. It's not fun when you have to be at the racetrack when it's snowing and raining, and so when you're not racing for points, you can sit home and just laugh at those guys that are doing that.
Right. Be like, I hope you enjoy all that while I'm sitting in the comfort of my home
Mm,
having a nice drink or eating a nice meal that's not. I mean, racetrack food is really good, right? But it's not certainly maybe everyone's favorite to just snack on all the time. So,
yeah,
um, but that's where I thought, since you crowned some champions and we have champions that are still yet to be crowned this weekend at a couple area tracks, I thought, let's talk points racing. So,
sure.
um, but obviously, you're on to talk about the Quicksilver, and um, that's a huge race for you guys that you've been working on for a little over a month now. It might even be 2 months. And so I know you have a lot more details now, because when we had you on last time, that was still kind of coming together when we did your State of the Union address a few weeks ago. But now you have a lot of information, because it's literally here this Sunday at the Kalamazoo Speedway. So if you want to give all the details on what parents, or if anyone watching or who will be watching has a mini wedge racer or has a champ cart or whatever it may be, because I think juice boxes might be part of this too. If you want to talk a little bit about Quicksilver, what it is, what people can expect, and why fans should come out and check it out on Sunday at Kalamazoo.
Sure, appreciate that. Yeah, the Quicksilver race, the Quicksilver Showdown is what we're calling it. The Quicksilver Showdown is we've actually had some interest in making having a big race, and we've got many people behind us that have actually put forth a lot of effort, a lot of work toward this race. These trophies that we're going to be handing out on Sunday, um, we figure we're going to be right around the because there's actually silver right in these trophies. We're figuring we're going to be really close to about $5,000 in trophies alone. We can't pay the kids, but if you want to chip the silver away and take it in hockey, you can do it if you want. But yeah, it's it's gonna be a very big show. I have so many people to help or that helped me on this, and they just, I mean, between my crew and the sponsors that we have, um, we just announced here about an hour ago we are going to have an open practice on Saturday, $10 per person. Get tuned up if you've not been to the track yet and you're coming. Gives you a chance to get a little bit of a feel what's going to be on Sunday. Looks like the weather is going to be fantastic all
Yes.
weekend. Oh, it's just amazing. So we prayed for that. Gates will open at 8 a.m. Buddy's food trailer will be on site, so he'll be doing breakfast for us as well. And doing lunch that day. We have be signing in and doing tech for a couple of hours. Be pretty extensive tech, so it's going to take a little bit longer than it normally does. We'll put cars on the track at 11 o'clock. Champ carts will be on at 12. We have to wait till the church gets out before we put the loud ones on the racetrack. Um, we're planning on hopefully being starting our features at 1 p.m. That's kind of the plan. Uh, so it's gonna be pretty big show. Last week we had our biggest show yet. We ended up with actually 40
Mm-hmm.
40 vehicles. If you want to count the juice box, I think we had 48. Big huge show. Just kind of, I think it's just a taste of what we're going to have this weekend. I'm excited. It's so gratifying to see these kids and these drivers, just the way that they over this year alone, how they've actually gotten so much better, and the racing has actually turned into very competitive racing. And it's very close. We did race Saturday at Berlin. We actually crowned two champions on Saturday, and we crowned three champions on Sunday. So yeah, we still do the points. So it gets a little hectic, but yeah, it's fun.
Well, and your champ carts have really come around too. It was not that long ago that you guys had three, and or two, and now, I mean, you had almost what would be a full field for your track, because I think a full field you guys would do 10 to 11, 12 maybe. Um, but with that champ cart, that's really come around. And so, how are you feeling about where you started with that at Lane Automotive, announcing that basically like, hey, this is coming, and now to see where it's gone, and how it's grown to where maybe it can go in the future.
I'm really excited about this class. We wanted to make a class that was kind of in between the big cars and the little cars, and I was hoping they would grow pretty quick, and I'm not unhappy with the growth that we've had. It's been a little bit. We're kind of on an island by ourselves. We have our own rules, so it is kind of exclusive to our program. So I knew that it would take a little while to build it up, but very excited about this class. Some very talented drivers. Uh, I think next year we'll probably definitely end up with an A and a B. It sounds like the way that it's going right now. I know of about seven more cars that are being built right now that probably won't be ready for Super Shoe, but not all of them anyways, but a couple, um, which will be up in the 20th and the 19th and 20th of September, which will run those at that race as well. Uh, but I will have an A and a B in that class here pretty soon too.
And just again, just think of all the work that not only you but your entire team has put into this. I know you guys were talking a little bit about that as you reflected on the season this past Sunday at Kalamazoo, that it really is a team effort, right, to do this. And so when everyone shows up on Sunday getting ready to do this, who are some of those faces for those who may be watching, or those who may watch and think, oh, I have a mini wedge, I want to go up there and try this out. Who are some of the faces that they'll be seeing around who helps with everything?
You were there, you seen it.
Yep.
The emotion that kind of goes with this program with me, anyways. I've got a great group of people. Uh, I can't thank not one of them enough. They're fantastic. And like I said when I was there, I couldn't handpick a better team. These guys they're just great people. Joel Aru, which is actually the announcer for Kalamazoo Speedway. My wife, she's there every week with us. Uh, she's actually typically she's the first one in the truck ready to go to the racetrack. Michelle and Taylor Sexton, Chris Blanche, which is our head of tech, uh, Joe and Penny Schaefer, which he runs the KTS, and it 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 just it just it tells everybody really how important safety is and what we're doing here. Without that, I would be a little bit less excited about it. But Joe does a great job, and he makes sure he's got. I had to take over last week and do some tech for the safety part of it, and he's got those kids just trained. I mean, they know exactly where their switches are at and what's a gas pedal, a brake. You go right on through where they know everything about it. Joe's done a great job making sure that happened, and it kind of hats off to him. Eddie Benjamin, which is also he's part-time flagman and he does the safety tech as well. Dale and Tyler McGann, Jackson Cook. We have our photographer, which is April Epic, um, Kevin, and then Todd and Caitlin and Kim. All of them. There's not one person that on my team that I would trade for anything.
Oh, and so, I mean, with that team, I mean, you all stand out. You guys are it's very clear when you show up to the track who's a part of this team. And so you kind of talked about how tech would be going. And you have obviously very knowledgeable people who are doing this tech. It was even evident at the Rumble in Fort Wayne last year, where you guys kept getting compliments from the staff at the Rumble in Fort Wayne. So what can people expect from a tech side, and any major rules or big rules that they should know about, especially if they're coming from maybe other facilities or other places that you guys are going to be looking for, just so there's no surprises for them when they show up?
Well, there's no surprise with the people that are with us right now. Make sure your all your safety equipment is up to date. Your belts can't be expired. You have to have snell-proof helmets, fire suits. I mean, everything has to be up to the date codes have to be up to date. So be prepared for that. Also, we have we're going to come through tech, and everyone's to have their basically their carburetor, their restrictor plates, and their gaskets in hand before they go through tech. We'll be inspecting all of that before we go on track. We check a lot of things as far as track width, and we check the weight. We'll do a pretty extensive tech afterwards as well. I don't like post race tech, but obviously with what we have going on with these engines and stuff like that, we try to keep it as fair as possible. So we'll probably take a couple engines home with us and tear them all the way down on Sunday as well. We might tear some of them apart while we're there, but if we want to go deeper, we check crankshaft, we check the cams, we check all the internal stuff or whatever. We'll tear them right on down to nothing, and just to make sure that we can keep this a fair playing field.
When I know one of the things that you posted, a part of this policy that when you do the tech and you do engine teardown, is now that will all be on video too. That way there's no accusations or no anything, like it's truly transparent that, hey, yeah, we're taking engines, we're going to tear them down, and now we're going to have this. So that way, once you get your stuff back, right, there's no tampering, no whatever. Sad that you had to get to that point, but it's kind of one of those things that, again, you guys just keep trying to get on the forefront of everything. So that way, hey, this is our program. This is what we're doing. We're going to be clean. We're going to be honest. We want to do things the right way. Because at the end of the day, as you always say, this is for the kids. And,
Absolutely.
And I think once, everybody remembers that this is a kids sport, that let's keep the kids as the focus, that it should really ground everybody, because at the end of the day, adults have their chance to go get trophies if they so choose. Let the kids have their opportunity to do so, but let's teach them the right way.
Absolutely. And I mean, the thing is this is memories that they're making with their kids and
Yeah.
their drivers. This is stuff that they'll never forget. I mean, I raced with my dad when I was really young. We did go-kart racing back in the day. There's just things that you'll never forget. And that's kind of what, that's kind of why and what we do is we want to make memories and we want to make race car drivers for the future.
Well, and I know you started talking about some sponsors, and I know JJ just got into the chat area with JJ Construction, and I know he's been, really helping with a lot of different things. Like kids got cotton candy, the other day because of JJ, and a few weeks before that, I thought it was trophies or something like that they were getting, or food. I can't remember. I just know every time JJ's around, someone's getting something. He's like Oprah, and but it must be awesome to have that kind of support. So who are some of your sponsors that not only helping the Quicksilver come together showdown, but then just in general with your season?
Yeah, we've got so many people that have helped us throughout the year. JJ has been a big addition to our program. Can't thank him enough. But yeah, everything that you said, they've gotten all of it between trophies and he paid for general admission or the I'm sorry, they paid for the pit passes for all most of the or I think it was all the kids for one race or whatever here a couple weeks ago. So he's a giver and we love having him on our team. So HP Graphics is a is my brother, obviously, but
Mm-hmm.
he's helped me out with some things here and there. RNS Boats, um, got M40 Diesel, Twisted Automotive. He's actually going to do all the trophies for Super Shoe this year again. Top Row Racing Media. You know those guys?
Yeah, kind of.
They, I appreciate you guys for everything you guys do. Uh, KTS, Fastway Creations. The Peppinger family's been really big for us this year. That he's actually Randy and his friends have all put a bunch of money together to get this show to go. That's why we're having the Quicksilver race. Uh, so we've got so many people that has helped us. Weights, heating, cooling, and refrigeration. He since about I think the second or third week out. He's actually purchased or give us enough money to take care of the trophies for the rest of the year.
Wow.
Yeah. So got a lot of people, and I can't thank them enough. It's been great. Uh, there's just so many, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple of them, but uh, everybody makes this thing work.
Well, and one thing too, I know you talked a little bit that you have track practice on Saturday for everyone who maybe hasn't been there yet. So do you want to talk a little bit about your track design? I know it's a little bit bigger this year than it was last year, if I remember correctly. And you actually have all the lines for
Yeah.
the first time this far
Yes.
into the season. The drifters did not ruin it for us, but and but if you want to talk a little bit about the track design and what you guys put into that, so everyone understands it's not just an oval that you're coming to. There's some technicality to it too.
Yeah, that's what we kind of started off with. We've changed the design of the racetrack a couple of times since we've taken this over. Um, Last year, it's actually the same distance between apex to apex and end to end, but we did widen the track 3 foot.
Oh, why did
Uh,
yeah.
we made it 3 foot wider on both ends, or all the way around. It went from being 20 feet wide to 23 foot wide. We're actually from apex to apex for 110 foot. Um, so I widened it because of the champ carts being
Mm-hmm.
open wheel and giving them a little bit more room. But it did speed up the mini wedges a little bit. But it's a very technical racetrack. I mean, if you got some kids out there that are just hammer down and they don't lift or whatever, and you see the kids that actually let off the gas, they roll through the corner, and they pick it up quick. Those are the fast ones. Those ones are, and boy, we got some really big talent. I'm excited to see them jump up into a bigger car someday or whatever, because they are some talented drivers in our program right now.
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of future names are certainly racing around every Sunday or even at Berlin. I mean, you guys have had the Berlin program all year too, so I know it's really exciting to see where they are because I mean, as Buju knows, we're starting to see those mini wedge cars come into play, where they're hitting the big cars and they're, um, doing really well too while they're at it. So
Yeah.
they've definitely not been slouches when they move on up.
Right, right. They get competitive, and then like on that little track, that little bull ring that we have, shows them how to run close. They can some nice tight racing. It definitely laps help no matter what you're racing in, whether it's a quarter midget, a mini wedge, go kart. Laps are laps, and that's what makes them better.
Buju, any questions or anything before?
No, sir.
No?
I might have to come up on Sunday though. I mean, it sounds like a great show. I haven't made up to a Kalamazoo Mini Wedge program. I haven't been to a Mini Wedge show in quite some time. So yeah, it sounds like an exciting one on Sunday for sure.
Yeah, just let me know when you're coming up. You can be my guest.
Absolutely, thank you.
And I want to make sure comments. Oh, JJ, Kenny, we appreciate you and your team so much, very much. If it wasn't for you all, this wouldn't be possible. Then, of course, Danielle Osborne, thank you for a great program for our kids. We appreciate all their hard work and dedication. Again, your team is top notch. It's great to see you guys in action. And so I know when I talked with you a few weeks ago, I had Corrigan on the wrong weekend, so I'm at Corrigan on Sunday, but I'm going to stop up on my way, and I'm going to try to see if I could do a 2-for-1 in the same day. With you guys doing features starting at 1:00, I'm like, okay, I think I have to leave by like 3:30 to get to Mason in time to get set up the top there. So I figure features only start at 1. There's probably a good chance that you'll be done close to 4. So you have been at least.
I think so. Yeah, I think we'll be done. We'll be. I'm guessing it's going to be like a 2.5 hour show.
Yeah. So again, plenty of chance to come on out and enjoy mini wedge racing, especially with very fancy trophies on the line that has silver literally in them. So again, the Quicksilver Showdown starts at 1:00 this Sunday. Gates open at 8, and the cars first hit the track at 11, with the big engines hitting at 12 because there's a church across the way. So definitely need to let people praise Jesus before we can go racing.
Absolutely.
Well, again, Kenny, thank you for taking the time tonight to join us and come on and talk all about it.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate everything you guys do. It's awesome, and hopefully we'll see you this weekend.
Yeah, like I said, you're gonna see me I'm gonna try to pull off a 2-for-1. So we'll see if I can make it work. But I know you're on my way up to Corrigan no matter what. So I'm gonna stop by and definitely be there to support the kids. And for any of the kids who are watching or waiting, the full program will be publishing shortly on YouTube. That's where I have it going at 7:30. So 2 minutes from now, they'll get to watch the full program race. Kenny, 645 laps is what I edited from last Wednesday to today, and 67 onboard cameras, all done in less than a week. So I'm also tired, but again, I know you have a lot of planning to do, and I know we'll probably cross paths at some point tomorrow as Kenny had the second closes out his points racing night at Kalamazoo Speedway in the street stock. So definitely come out too and see the K2 in action as everybody closes out their season at Kalamazoo. So again, Kenny, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks, guys. You have a great weekend, and again, we'll see you on Sunday.
See you on Sunday.
Thanks, Kenny.
Thank you.
Yep. So again, we're on the Thursday Night Throttle, and we are just finishing up with Kenny Head, who's the president of the Kalamazoo Mini Wedge program, or Family Fun Mini Wedges, which races at both Kalamazoo and Berlin. And before we pop into there, I'm going to remind everyone of the question, because we'll ask Bennie Miller this too, because he wasn't going to be racing in the car for too long, and then he all of a sudden accidentally found himself in a points race. And so our question of the night is, every year drivers talk about, I'm not points chasing next year, or they have a goal of winning a points championship. It's like one or the other, it seems. So does points racing still matter? And does it get too stressful as a driver? And you can share certainly all your thoughts, emotions, or feelings about that. So before we bring on Bennie, I'm going to ask you really quick, Buju, what you think, and then that's going to dovetail right into Bennie. I will bring him on as you're finishing your thought.
So I think on the competitor side of things, and we'll talk about on the fan side of things after Benny's on, I guess. But on the driver side of things, I can't stand it. I don't think it's worth the stress. My family did it forever, and while I appreciate those championships and they were great moments when those did happen, it's friendships have been lost. People lose their minds. I don't like points racing. I don't think it's worth it in this day and age with the way car counts have gone and like Kenny said, when he mentioned championship where they had 25 cars with perfect attendance, you can get classes that don't have 25 cars over the course of a season now.
Yep.
So, and that's not to take away from champions now. It is still hard to do, but I don't know. To me, it's not worth it anymore. And I just don't think it's worth the some of the things that come from it.
Yeah, like we've talked about before, and this is where I'll be bringing Bennie on. I'm a videographer, right? I was a fan. I always say I was a stupid fan because I've certainly learned a lot on this side of the fence where I'm like, oh man, I didn't know. I don't want to curse. I didn't know shiitake mushrooms. Just because I've, between Gary Howe and then obviously, people like Kenny, people like Donnie Ritter, even with Chris and Tracy, learning this side of things more and more all the time. Every show I go to, Drew Jack, him and I talk often, and I always tell him I was the dumb fan. I now sometimes I get really frustrated in the comment section at fans who are like, that was me. Like I sounded that dumb sometimes. And there's some who still take the cake, but there are some who, like if a track was doing features only, I'd be one of the first ones to be like, well, what about the heat races? And now on this side of things, I hate heat races. I just,
I know
I just, they're boring. Like I get it. Someone might win their first race that way, and I'm so happy when they do. Like I want people to have chances to win, and I get when you get to a feature, there's probably about 9 or 10 cars that have a chance to win that. All 24 aren't going to win it, and all 24 out of that 24, 9 or 10 probably are the ones with the best shot. So I completely get it. But as we talked about at New Paris on Saturday, as they're wrecking each other in the heat race, I'm like, did we forget that there's actually championships on the line tonight? And now the Hornets, didn't really matter if they wrecked each other. Ray Roberts was sitting in the stands while they're doing it. But even in the straight stocks, right? Like, Sage, obviously she didn't do it, but Charlie's right there. And I'm like, oh, Charlie, don't have a heart attack right now. Sage wasn't trying to take him out, but it's like, literally you could have had anything hit the fan. And that's why I like that Kalamazoo tomorrow. And this is tradition. They've done this. But Kalamazoo tomorrow, features only. Heat race will not determine the championship.
Yeah.
The feature will determine the champions. And I just think that's the way it should be. I think too much we run our programs like it's 1942, where here's your heat race and here's our intermission and here's your feature and have a great rest of your day. Thank you. Come again next week. It's not exciting. Where you go to Corrigan Oil, they do twin features. And I love the twin feature format. I wish more tracks would do it. I know Berlin does it. It's the same payout, which he'll talk about. Yes, this is $1,000 to win, but it's 2 features. So if Bailey Powell's, goes up and wins the B feature, like he did last week, he won B feature 1 and took 4th, I think, in B feature 2. Well, he would get 500 for feature 1, and then he'd get whatever he gets. So that 1,000 is just split. So it's the same payout. It's just, it's just this. Right. And, it's like it's something different and something exciting. And the first feature, and Benny can correct me if I'm wrong, but the first feature determines basically where you're starting in the second feature. So it matters, and I know people, then you get someone on here, well, they game the system. Who's probably going to win the feature probably is winning the feature. Let's be real. Like, just like qualifying, like if you sandbag, at some point you're going to get caught. Maybe not all the time, but you're eventually going to get caught for sandbagging. Like that night, the transponder doesn't lie at some point, and unless you really really game it. But yes, point tracing doesn't. I'm not one way or the other. I totally get it. Like I'm rooting for Scott Gates. I hope he can pull out his first championship over at M40. Obviously, we talked on Monday when Haley Bull was on that I kept motivating Haley, even though literally I could have ignored Haley the whole time and just gone to, Sage and Charlie. Charlie obviously being in second place, 2 cars that I financially sponsor, and just cheer for them. And it could have been, instead of feeling sad and defeated for Haley when she blew up, her radiator and smoke everywhere, I could have been like, yeah, no, I was sitting on the roof going, this is not how it should be solved.
Mm-hmm.
This is not how a championship should be decided. And so, even though like Charlie would have won the championship if she had stayed in the pit area, but it's like that, and Charlie wouldn't have wanted to win it that way.
No,
either.
yeah,
That's not what you do. And so it's one of those that, but during the heat races, as they're crashing and everything, I'm like, oh, no, this is, I wish, that wasn't happening. But again, I don't have the pencil to write the program, so it's not my choice. But I just think championship night should look a little different than the rest of the year. Just because let the features decide everything. That's where it should go. And I'm not saying that that's not just Galesburg ran heat races, right? This is tracks all over. M40 will probably run heat races. It's just, I just hate if a heat race is what decides the championship because someone gets taken out or someone crashes or someone blows an engine, which I know a driver might say, well, we're racers race. We don't want to just do a feature only. Okay, yeah, your engine's going to blow in the heat race. Congratulations. Now you don't have a chance for a championship.
Yeah, or tag 10 more laps on the feature.
Yeah.
If you're that concerned about losing your 8-lap heat race, 6-lap heat race, or whatever it may be.
Well, and that's what they're doing tomorrow at Kalamazoo. The features are 5 laps bonus.
There you go. Yeah.
That's basically a heat race minus at Kalamazoo, it's 1 lap. We do 6-lap heat races. And so, you're basically running your heat race in the feature where it matters the most.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, too, at Kalamazoo, though, it's like Oprah giving points. Everybody gets the same amount of points, whether you're first or last. Everybody gets 10 points. So there's no incentive, really. There's incentive to run because you get 10 points, but it doesn't change. It doesn't change the math. If Jared Blanchard's 10 points behind Mason and they run a heat race, he's still 10 points behind Mason at the end of the heat race, but Jared might have crashed and Mason didn't, right? So, let's do it in the future and let's settle it there. But let's bring on Bennie to be a part of this conversation too, because like I said, he found himself in a points battle with his 33, and they have their championship tomorrow night at the Corrigan Oil Speedway. And so, Bennie, what are your thoughts on points racing, no points racing? Too stressful, still fun?
It is very stressful. I'll be honest with you. I'm sitting third right now in the A's, and I'm as nervous as a cat.
See?
I don't really look at points until halfway, 3/4 of the way through the season. And then that's when it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
That's kind of how this year happened with me. I had no intention of getting in a car and racing this year. We were having problems with my son's car, and he's like, Dad, I need help. I need some help here. I need you to go shake it down. All right. Well, we took it out. I shook it down for him, and we figured out a issue. Went back out the following week, and we were having another issue. And he's like, Dad, I can't do this. Well, this happened about 4 or 5 times, 4 or 5 weeks in a row. And he's like, Dad? And I'm like, crap. Well, I'm sitting, I think at that time I was sitting 5th or 6th in the points, and the points gap was not that far apart. And it's like, oh no, here we go.
Right.
But as the season's gone on, it's gotten more stressful by all means. No, I'm not a fan.
Yeah. And again, that's where I'm, I could go one way or the other with it, but I so get when drivers talk about, because like at least at Kalamazoo this year, which they did this at Springport, if I remember too, is they had a throwout night, right? Here's a throwout night. So if you miss, and some people had to use their throwout night early because they got in a really bad crash or whatever. And so they knew their car wouldn't be ready for the next week, but then they had no room for error the rest of the season because they already used their throw up night at the beginning of the year, right? Where others, they take that opportunity, like, I want to go fishing, or I want to go do this, or I want to go do that, or I have a family reunion. And so, so I do appreciate when tracks have that. I know not every track does, and everyone does their points differently, but that's where, like, I appreciated that, Donnie at least has done traditionally, like, hey, like, there are nights that he wants to go elsewhere, right? So he gets it, like, that we're going to throw out your low night. So, but it makes the points game mathing because you're like, who used their low night? Who hasn't used their low night yet? So, but like tomorrow,
I know of drivers that lost championships because of the throwout night.
Yeah. And so it's one of those things that, I think as everyone tries to get creative to keep racers, for those who want that championship, because again, the championship matters, right? Like being a track champion does mean something.
Oh yeah.
But it's the stress to that point where it's like, I don't know, is that sometimes worth our mental health, right? So that's where I'm like, I can go either way, but if you talked with me and about, okay, Lewis, if you had a choice, twin features or heats and features, I'd go twin features all day. I love what Corrigan's doing. I wish more people would get out there to watch it because those races have been so fun every time I've been there.
They are fun. This year is actually the first time I've ever done the twin feature thing. I see a lot of pros and cons with it. I really do.
Yeah.
And I haven't made up my mind whether I like it or not. I'm at this point. I mean, this late in the season, I'm not a fan of it, just because of the points.
Yeah, right.
But at the beginning of the year, yeah, I was a big fan of it because I'll tell you, the night moved. It moved right through.
Yep.
And that's always a nice thing. You get the show in, get the shows in, and it's more laps per feature, versus a heat race and a feature.
Right.
So there's a little bit of an endurance issue there. And personally, I like that endurance side of things,
Yeah.
Who can put the most laps in and still come out on top? You were talking earlier about, how you finish in the first feature sets you up in the second feature. Yep, that is right. And you still can't break out, but you got to be able to figure out how to get through traffic.
Right.
And traffic can bite you in the butt a lot.
Yeah, I'm a big full invert guy though too. Like I love a full 100%. Invert. I want the fast guy at the back and work your way up. That's the one thing that I think dirt misses. Yep. The point is that even dirt racers will say this, that they, if you go to a dirt race, the fast guy, like if let's say Ryan Crocker was racing, right, and Ryan Crocker starts on the pole. Oh, okay, well, unless he does something dumb or stupid, he's or unless one of these other fast guys are going to catch him. That's probably race, right? Like, right. Okay, we watch now. Let's just watch what fifth place is doing. And go ahead, Buju.
I just think to your point, I think that only amplifies on asphalt too, because on dirt the track changes more throughout the day, and throughout the race.
Right.
A longer or even a short race, I mean, it's going to change from the beginning of the day, but a long race, it changes throughout the course of that race. So the fast guys being at the front's a little different on dirt. On asphalt, the track is the racetrack. It changes a little bit through the course of the race and throughout the day, but certainly not as much as dirt does. And that's my problem with the heat setting the features or doing whatever it is, where a race sets the feature lineup because you're putting those fast guys on the front and you're sacrificing your feature to make the heats interesting, which I think is working backwards from what we're trying to do. So.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love that invert, but that's where, like I said, though.
I agree. I'm a full invert guy, 100%. Yep. I want full invert every race, every week.
Me too, 100%. 100%.
And that's why. So last Friday, I'm sitting at Corrigan. It's a lighter crowd again, and I just, I feel for them because it's like, man, this program is entertaining. They're like, the races are fun. I mean, I haven't been there yet with the Crash Fest, and I know it's happened on other nights that I haven't been there, but I'm like, every time I've been here, I've been entertained the whole night. I've not found myself bored, and I have a long drive. Like, I have a chance to be like, I could get on the road by now, and I could have been, I could have been home by now, or I am finding myself engaged. with every feature that's out there. And of course, then you got the figure eights, and I'm like, sign me up to do it, but sign me up for that. And so I'm hoping, right? Let's talk a little bit about Sunday, because points aren't on the line Sunday.
Nope.
However, there's a lot of money on the line, and so you hear front wheel drive racers all the time,
Yep.
all the time, saying we're the show. How come we don't get special things? And it's like, okay, well, yeah, you bring a lot of pit people, but are you bringing a lot of people in the stands? So this is one way to do both this weekend. You can bring people in the stands and show Jim Leisure that we need more front wheel drive shows like this, and that he can up the purse or whatever. This is your chance to prove you're the show. Although the modifieds are going 70 laps, so that obviously will bring people in too. But depending on who survives the Sizzler the night before at New Paris, but be that as it may, like, this is your shot, because A feature 1,000 to win, split of course, but still total 1,000 to win. B feature 1,000 to win, again split, but total 1,000. C feature 1,000 to win.
Yep.
C feature Buju, C feature that pays usually like $75 elsewhere.
Yeah.
1,000 to win, of course, split, but even splitting, like, that's good. All right. And then if there's a D feature, 500, E feature, 500. So this is a chance for front wheel drives. Galesburg has no racing on Saturday because they have a night of destruction. So Galesburg cars are just kind of sitting around doing nothing, unless they go down to M40. New Paris doesn't have front wheel drive racing anymore because it's V8s on Saturday, and our season for them is done. So, they have nowhere to race. Kalamazoo's done on Friday. So go race, because you have plenty of time to get it put back together for Super Shoe, which is the next weekly race, because we have a night of destruction after that. A couple weeks off, night of destruction, then goes into Super Shoe. So there's time, right? So these front wheel drives are just kind of sitting around. This is obviously with Birch Run, Jujac has the World Compact Series tomorrow at Birch Run. But beyond that,
yeah, why not?
here's your shot. So why don't you talk a little bit about the breakdown, talk a little bit about the rules, because I know Corrigan's already announced that lap times will not be shown on the board, which you have historically done with this race, no matter where it's been, just so there is no accusations of sandbagging or whatever. So you guys keep that where you watch the times up top in the tower, like, you're very involved with this. So why don't you give the breakdown on types of payouts that people can expect other than the win, kind of rules that are set in place. It is ABC. So that, that means if you want to run with a Matthew Elsey Jr., you're probably going to be an A, and you need to be spending A money to run with him. Right. If you want to be in a C feature and, shake hands and kiss babies and circle around the track for a little bit, you can be in that race. You just know what you need to spend there. So it's pretty open when it comes to ABC, but obviously there are still rules in place. So if you want to give a little bit about that background so that people can be prepared for the Motorhead Miller Mafia 1000 race.
Yeah, so Kevin McShane and I started Motorhead 1000 3 years ago. I had always wanted to do it, but I never knew the channels of it. And McShane and I was talking about it one night. And Sean Sprague, he, the announcer for Tri-State Sprints, he just happened to stop by. He just lives right down the road. And he said, "What are we talking about?" And we explained to him. He says, "I know how to do that. I know how to set you up for that." So he did. He set us up with Corrigan Oil Speedway. And I had a conversation with Jim Leisure. This is what I want to do. I want to do 1,000 to win to the underdog. This is an underdog race. You always hear about these big shows, for the big guys per se, the A front wheel drives, the mods, late model sportsmans, street stocks, blase, which is all great. It's all great. I understand it completely. What about the little guy that's trying to come up? $1,000, it might not be a lot of money to them, to the bigger cars. But for that guy that it might be his rookie year, that's huge. That is huge money, and just to be able to, say that, he won that $1,000. I mean, that might have covered, half of a season right there.
Yeah, right.
Fuel and tires and maintenance and everything else. These race cars are not cheap at all. And I don't care what class you're in. They're expensive, right, all the way around, So that's where this has all come about. This is what I wanted to do it. I was that little guy at one time. I want to see that little guy run late model sportsmen. I want to see him run the modifieds. I want to see him in a cup car someday. That's what I want. So we put this together. Again, with the twin features, we would have liked to have seen $1,000, per feature win. But unfortunately, this all comes out of Kevin McShane and my pocket.
Right.
We do have the rest of our team actually stepped up, and they're donating out of their pockets the purse for the D's. They stepped up on it. We didn't ask them. They did it on their own. Good on them. I appreciate them guys. That's why those guys are on my team. So yeah, everything's self-funded. The payouts are going to be exceptional. I don't have the breakdown in front of me. I forgot it at work, unfortunately.
Oh, fired. You're fired.
Please. But they are very, very good payouts. I want to say.
Do you know if Corgan has posted it yet? Oh, wait, didn't you make a graphic on Facebook?
I don't know if Corgan has posted it or not.
Okay. Because I know
they were supposed to, but I don't know if they did not.
So let me look, because you made a graphic for this. Oh, this is just what the winnings are. So, it's D features 250. Excuse me. I think I said 5. Oh, no. It's 250 per feature. I see what you did there. So, yeah, 500 total. If there's a D and E, and I'm hoping so, because again, Galesburg is sitting at home.
Right.
They have a night of destruction. Springport, right? Not racing yet. Kalamazoo, we're done on Friday. New Paris, like Bailey Powell's. I was so glad that when I had a chance to connect with you, and a couple of his people have commented back, like, "What'd you think of Corgan?" So I'm hoping we get some Indiana invaders coming up and giving it a shot.
I welcome them. McShane and I have a saying between us. Please show up and take our money.
Yeah, yep. I mean, I can help with that, but like, I'll run an E feature. I'll just circle around. I'll turn the lights and sirens on and be like, "Move out of my way."
There you go.
But don't hit the videographer, otherwise you won't get on video. So just let me get out front, and I'll get the best video possible while you're following me to the win. But yeah. So I mean, again, 1,000 to win ABC. I mean, that's just. You just don't see a lot of that happen with the BNC. And I know, like, you got people like Connor Hogue, who won this a few years ago, and that was his first feature win. And then last year,
Randy Adams.
Yeah. And that wasn't his first win. That was
that wasn't his first win, but he was driving my car.
Yeah. Yep. And
but I don't remember if that was my 12 car or my 33 car.
I think it was your 12. I think it was the number 12, your the gold one. So, but he had that, and that was a great battle. That also came down to the end. Like, your features have been entertaining, where Billy Edwards and Connor Hogue literally came down to the line.
They actually had to make extra laps so we could go over the footage to see who actually crossed the line first. It was that close. I mean, it was like 200 thousandths of a second between the difference between them. I mean, it was that close.
Yeah.
And the distance in their front bumper, you couldn't have put your hand between them. I mean, it was that close.
Yeah. And so
Randy Adams, he did one hell of a job last year. One hell of a job. All these feature wins with all of these guys with the motorheads. I mean, they've done amazing. I couldn't ask for a better show, to be honest with you.
And I know you've talked about potentially in the future, excuse me, of possibly moving this around. And so this is a really good shot, too, for people just to kind of come and experience it, see what it's like, because you never know. It might end up, at a place like a Kalamazoo in the future, or Auto City in the future, or M40 who knows where it's going to end up, right? And it's for that little guy who, they're usually racing for maybe $75 or $100, to win, or can I get my tow money back? So do you know what the start pay is or anything like that for most, even if we don't have the full breakdown?
I want to say start money for the D's. I want to say it was $100.
That's your pit pass, your registration, all that back. Because if you've not raced there yet, you do
Don't
have to
quote
pay.
me on that, but I'm like 95% sure it was $100 for start money for the D's.
Yep. And so, what will be your max starting per feature? Because I know Corgan, they break it down, differently. So do you know like how many max you'd put on a track at one time?
Once again, don't quote me, but I think at the max, just the start was 200.
I mean, how many cars on the track?
Oh, we don't know that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
So I'm very involved with the timing and everything else with qualifying. And what I do is I watch the split. I kind of try to figure out how many cars we got. Let's say we got 40 cars, so we got an A and B. Where's the closest split to the 20th position?
Yep. Yep.
We might have 18 cars and 22 cars. It really don't know, but where that split is, because I don't want a car that's a second slower than the fastest car out there. We want good, hard door-to-door racing. We want, we don't need people getting run over, getting cars junked. We don't want that. This is a fun race. This is for the little guy. Let's get it did.
Yep. And again, that's that A feature, the first one, or the B or the C. That first feature will really help to determine the second one. So, and it doesn't benefit you. Like someone did mention this earlier, not today, but in a conversation when I was talking with them about this, they said, "Well, that's just an easy way to sandbag." And I said, "Oh, trust me, they'll figure it out." No. And even in the feature, if you try that and you're like, well, if I do this and I can start better in the second one, I'm telling you, other people have tried that and it's not worked for them very well. No. Just go out and run your race. Don't worry about this, that, and the other. Just go turn left, and whatever happens will
fast
happen.
Turn left, right, Boujou?
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Always.
Yep. So that's where, again, as I told Kenny Head, we're going to try to do double duty. Where I'll start with mini wedges and then head that way after. I'm going to make sure on the timing on like what time do I absolutely need to leave by.
Boy, that guy does one great job, doesn't he? Kenny Head.
Yes.
He does one hell of a job. One hell of a job. Hats off to him.
Yeah, his program they really brought it a long ways. Not that it was off, but it had a mix of some years up and down, as every mini wedge group has. I mean, everybody's had ebb and flow, and but they really established a foundation there and really established like, this is the way that we're doing it. This is how we're going to run it. And well, this is just kind of what it is. Right. And it's a team effort. And, but again, that's as I was telling you last week, I'm like, I've been a part of every Motorhead race so far. So, I don't want to stop that streak, but
we appreciate that. We do appreciate that.
Yeah. So that's where I got to factor in setup and tear down. So at mini wedges, it might be old school. I might use my phone, go way back, so then I don't have to worry about setting up and tear down and making sure everything's set, grabbed and all that and fight with the cords. But, so we'll see how it goes and everything. But that's my goal right now, is to try to pull double duty on this. So that way I can still get to Corrigan and do that and support you guys and what you're doing. And support Jim. He's been very respectful to me all season long and every year that I've been there. But I got the approval from him already to be there. Sabrina Beebe will be there, so she'll be able to help with photos. It's her birthday, by the way, today. So if anyone knows Sabrina Beebe, definitely wish her a happy birthday, because she busts her butt, at every track. So you'll have some extra photos to go around. I know they have a photographer there too, but but she'll get some awesome shots. So that's the goal, is how can I support both in the same day? And
thank you.
Yeah, that's again, we're running out of time, right? The season's closing, but that's where seeing this Motorhead race each year and then hearing you talk about it, what the goal is. It's like when you watch the goal play out in person,
right?
It's like, like I keep saying, the Connor Hogues, the Billy Edwards, who was a B feature car at that time, right? Now he's gotten faster and he's in the A consistently, but when you have drivers like that who have a shot for a big payday,
Funny
that's
you
pretty
say
awesome.
That. Actually, Billy Edwards was in my 12 car with against Connor Hogue.
Yes, yep.
And then Randy Adams actually won it in my 12 car last year.
Yep. Well, and just so everyone knows, you yourself will not be racing. You get to you pull yourself out of this so that it doesn't look like nepotism or anything like that going on. Even though you'll have cars involved, but they're teched the same way as every other. Everyone has to pass the same thing. There's no special treatment just because you're bringing the money. There's no privilege for you.
I have a theory about that is when I turn over a car to one of my drivers, it's their car. It's not my car, it's their car. They're responsible for that car. So if it passes tech, great. If it doesn't pass tech, that's on them.
Yep.
That is totally on them.
Yeah. So Buju, any questions too? Because Buju's the front wheel drive guy as well. So
just thanks for putting on a big show for front wheel drives once again. Yeah, I mean, pretty incredible show you've put together, and good opportunity for. And I like it, like Lewis said. I hope you get some Indiana invaders from down my way.
We do too. Our first year that we did the Motorhead 1000, we had 57 cars, I believe, show up. Last year we had 83 show up. So I'd like to push on that 100 car count there. If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. I'm good with it, But it gets all these guys in the cars, people in the stands, and let's have a good time. And just go. Amen. Just do it for a good time.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and again, that's where this is the shot, right? Because you're a front wheel drive guy too. It's we wish we had big races. We bring more people than than those late model guys do, or those modified guys do. Well, now's your chance. Now's your chance to say, I put those butts and those seats, and we have quality racing, and we have, like we're not going to be a wreck fest because I've not seen, like I said, and I'm sure it happens, but anytime I've been to Corrigan, I don't know if it's how it races or what, but I'm like, I just haven't seen a wreck fest when I'm there. Like every race is super entertaining, and you can't ask for more than that, right? Like it's super entertaining. Every feature, there's battles, watching everyone navigate turn 1 and 2. Again, there's crashes and there's accidents because those are going to happen. But like wreck fest, like I've just not seen it yet. And so definitely bring
find some wood to knock on.
Yeah. If it happens, my fault. I will take full blame. But I mean, I've been there enough that I haven't seen that. So the trend is in the right direction, I should say. But again, that's where, if you want to find the Corrigan Oil Speedway rules, head out to CorriganOilSpeedway.com. I believe it's the official website, CorriganOilSpeedway.com. And check out the rules on there. But it is, Buju, your microphone's doing weird things again. Earlier, he sounded like RoboCop, and then he sounded like a front wheel drive sitting in pit lane, or in the hot chute. So I'm like, don't do that. But at least not on the show. You can do it before or after. But again, check out the rules. Bailey Powell's was legal at Corrigan Oil Speedway, and he's legal at New Paris Speedway, and he's been legal at M40 Speedway. So that means since it's ABC, pretty much if you're legal at these other tracks, you're probably going to be legal at Corrigan. That doesn't mean you won't have to change something here or there, or wherever. But again, ABC offers that opportunity to kind of fit in where you fit in. And, the one thing too, like I've been a big advocate down at New Paris. It probably won't happen, but I've been a big advocate for ABC, because I've seen it at all these other tracks work. And in this area, there's, Plymouth and M40 are not ABC. So it wouldn't make sense yet for New Paris to go ABC, just because the tracks are surrounded by immediately also aren't ABC. But, instead of having a breakout rule and losing a championship that way and everything else, like Bailey Powell's, lost an opportunity at a championship at New Paris because he went too fast twice. He's won the $1,000 race at Kalamazoo. He just won at Corrigan Oil Speedway, and he did it with a B feature car.
Right.
Which, if that B feature at Corrigan was at New Paris, it would have been the A feature Hornet race. Like those cars that were racing would have been in the A feature Hornets at New Paris. So I'm like, you already run ABC, you just don't call it that yet. But I'm not a big, like, I get the breakout rule, but I'm like, I don't know, let them race. Just, let them go, because cars are going to travel if they want to travel. And Bailey Powell's is evidence of that, where John Reams, came up to Kalamazoo, won a big race, like they can, and, you can say, hey, that's our guy who did that, right? Like the New Paris just went to Kalamazoo Speedway and beat all those Kalamazoo cars. That would seem like a chance to be some bragging going on, some bragging rights, right?
Used to be.
Yeah, but again, it yet doesn't make sense for them to do that because of what they're surrounded by. But I keep advocating for it, and I'm like, here are the rules. I hope it happens someday. But that's where I love the ABC format. I don't like the points part of the ABC format. I will say that you need a PhD to figure that out. But
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
In my head.
That
I
part,
wish these tracks would put how they do the points in black and white right at the beginning of the year. So that way at the middle of the year, when I'm stressing out going, oh shit, I'm number 5,
Yep.
Number 2, how does this work out?
Yep.
Where am I gaining? Where am I losing?
Yep. And I know even at Springport, right, we all did the math where I'm like, well, how many A features did you race versus how many B features did you race? How many C features? Like, I get that, right? Like, that's the part that I dislike.
Right.
So that is the big con against ABC's system, is that in my race pass, there's just not an awesome, great way to do that. And to split that. So I totally get that. So like, if it came to that part, I'd be like, that's the part I don't like. Don't ask me about that. I'm not talking about that part. That's a headache to think about. But it offers opportunities. So again, if you're legal at New Paris, Hornets, or the only thing you guys won't do is mini stocks, right? Like, you don't allow mini stocks.
No, we don't allow mini stocks.
Yeah.
As much as I'd like to see that class come up here, there's not enough people around that would do them.
Right. So, an example would be like a Matthew Elsey Jr. would be like the A feature. And then I think of like a Summer Allen if Summer Allen from New Paris came up to Corrigan Oil, she would be a C feature car, although she got in the A this past weekend, but she's typically a B feature car at New Paris. So she would be a C feature probably at Corrigan Oil. So just kind of think about that. And if you're sort of like what's a really good example? Bailey Powell's, John Reams, they race at New Paris. They are A Hornet cars, but they would be B cars at Corrigan Oil. So that kind of gives a breakdown of where your car probably would fall. If you're a fast Hornet, you're probably going to be in the B. If you're a slow Hornet, you're probably in the C. And if you're an outlaw front-wheel drive with Drew Jack's National Compact Touring Series, you're probably in the A, right? So that gives a breakdown, but you don't have to worry about the mini stocks coming up and, doing their dips and tricks and all the things. So hopefully it's a packed pit area, but for those listening, I just threw out some names, and the names may not mean anything to everybody, but that kind of gives an idea. Braden Loop is kind of like a B car. Sometimes he's an A car, but traditionally a B car. He races at Kalamazoo and at Galesburg. A Bree Brady, sometimes goes between the B and the C. So again, that just, for people listening, that gives an idea of where your car might fall this weekend at Corrigan with the ABC format, especially if you're at a track that doesn't run ABC ever. So those give some ideas, but
it's easy as 1, 2, 3.
Well, I'm not going to say that, but because I don't think it's easy, because Benny's the one that has to figure out the cut lines here, right? So he has to do all that math and figure that out. So I'd probably say Braden Loop would be a B car, and then he's going to qualify into the A on Saturday. So but I did say he's sometimes an A car. It just depends on the number of cars there, as you said. Like, if we have 40, this is what it's going to look like. If we have 60, this is what it's going to look like. If we have 80 or 100, and So other than that, racing starts, I think, at 5.
Yeah, 5 o'clock.
15, something like that at Corrigan.
I think the first green flag drops at 5 o'clock.
Yep. So that's where I'm going to bring up the schedule. Oh, that's championship night. We don't want that schedule.
Oh.
The pit gates open at 12. Track opens for open practice at 12:30. Racing practice ends at 3. Group qualifying, you get 2 sessions each division, starts at 3:05, and that'll end by 4:15. Then at 4:30 is the drivers' meeting, and yes, you must go to the drivers' meeting. They do not play around there. I have learned.
They don't.
And you won't have a great starting spot if you're not at the drivers' meeting.
Nope.
And then you might not even race. But 4:55 is opening ceremony. And Bougie, they're like a lot like Kalamazoo. When they say 4:55, it's 4:55. When Kalamazoo says 7:26, it's 7:26. And 5 p.m. green flag. And that pace car will roll out. They're not even done with Victory Lane photos, and the pace car already has the whole next feature
We're on the
already on the track. Yeah, they're waiting. Like, it's like breathing down your throat. So you have modifieds that will be racing. They go 70 laps. Then you have front wheel drives, pure stocks, and trucks. That's a mix. That's kind of like the Birch Run group is what I call it. And then mini wedge racing, which will be in the triangle on the front stretch. And then, of course, it is the championships for the figure eights. So I think they even advertise it as the state championship for figure eights. And so if you've not seen a figure eight race at Corrigan Oil, two thumbs up.
It's a good one. It is a good one.
And Jim Leisure is really proud of those figure eights and what they can do. So other than that, that's all the information for Corrigan. So again, for Harvest, this is Slugfest number 4, and your basically final chance to get out to Corrigan Oil because it's their last race of the season. So, and they definitely won't need that rain date on September 13th because everything's running. The weather's looking great this weekend. So, so August 30th is your one final chance to get out to the Corrigan Oil Speedway up in Mason, Michigan. The track, the Stars Call Home, and the price, which you can buy tickets online. I should give the price.
You got more information about that than I do.
No, I didn't. It was there and then I lost it. Oh, it's 17. If you buy, it says with fees, it's $17, but instead of $18 at the gate, it's $14.45 each, and then they have the processing fee. So, and then 12 and under are free. So I want to make sure that's right. Yeah. Because I just added it to the cart. You can order your tickets online and scan them right when you go into the front entrance at Corrigan Oil. So if I wanted to buy an adult ticket and I wanted to bring someone who's 12 and under and I add to the cart, my total is going to be $17 because of a $2.55 processing fee. So it's cheaper to buy online than to buy in person.
Yeah.
By $1. $1's a dollar.
Hey, yeah.
That's a popcorn bucket. So, or a bottle of water, and their concessions are pretty good too. So you won't be disappointed with their concessions. But other than that, Benny, I think we've covered everything as it comes to your 1,000. Unless Bougie, you think I'm missing anything?
No, sir. I think we covered.
You're gonna make it, Bougie?
I'll try. I don't know, man.
Perfect.
It's a little bit ways up there for me, but I'll definitely give it a whirl.
I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
Well, and typically, unless like crap hits the fan, they've had most of their Sunday programs done by 7:30, the latest. That's the late.
Yeah.
Now I sit around and I chit chat, so I never leave on time. But if I didn't have to pack up all my stuff and make sure I have everything and carry it to the car, then come back in and go and talk to all the drivers that I can get a chance to go talk with, I'd be home a lot earlier than midnight. But I sit and I chit chat and I do all the things afterwards, and so I'm my own. But if like you're a fan and you need to be back by a certain time, if you're there by 7, if they're usually done by around 7:30, if you get in your car right away and for the highway, then you probably would be home by 9:30, 10 o'clock. So, if for a 2-hour drive, 3-4 hour drive, obviously that's a whole different animal. Yeah. But if you're just a fan and you're making the trek up north, east, south, or west, depending on the direction you're coming from, from where I am, it's about a 2-hour drive down 94 to 69 to a bunch of other highway numbers I don't remember. I just go where the GPS tells me. And but it's a nice little drive, and so their programs are pretty good, and they'll have like a brief intermission between the race, and that's where mini wedges will be. So mini wedges are the intermission.
Right.
So if you like mini wedge racing, you can watch that, or you can go get a hot dog, hamburger, use the bathroom, do whatever, which I hate saying it that way, but that's where they can squeeze into the program on a big race like this, is that intermission. So other than that, Benny, will definitely be seeing you on Sunday. I know I'm excited for it. So you may see me coming in late. I may be not late for the program, but getting there a little late because I'm going to try to do mini wedges beforehand. But again, I'm excited for Sunday, so we'll definitely be seeing you then.
Appreciate it.
All right. Again, we've been talking.
Benny, good luck.
Yeah, no, thank you. Again, we've been talking with Bennie Miller from Motorhead Miller Mafia Racing about the 1,000 win ABC races that they have this weekend at the Corrigan Oil Speedway. Before I forget too much, I know we've talked about back-to-back programs here. I didn't make a schedule for the Beacon Sales and Service, but I do want to let everyone know Summer Sizzler is this Saturday at New Paris Speedway. The Reveal the Hammer will be there, as well as, and they go for $6,000 some odd dollars to win. I don't remember because it's Reveal, but limited late models are $1,500 to win, and then the modifieds are $2,000 to win. So if you have a modified or you have a limited late model, those are New Paris sanctioned shows, and the modifieds are trifecta race number 2 of 3 with the championship on September 19th, Saturday, at New Paris. And the bonus that the champion gets in this series is $5,000. So I believe right now, Jonathan Gatton or one of the Gattons are leading the points. If that's true after tonight, or not tonight, excuse me, on Saturday, and if that's still true on September 19th, then someone would take home a $5,000 bonus. In addition to the winnings that they've had. So again, that's something that New Paris is doing. So limited late models are not a trifecta race. That was last week, or that was at Flagger Boy was the trifecta race for them. So this is an add-on because the Great Lakes Truck Tour had to cancel their entry. So rather than running just 2 classes, Chris and Tracy added limited late models to this, which allows potentially Bryce Bozell to race twice that night. Maybe Jeff Gannis pulls double duty. Right. I don't know if they are or not. Right? He's been racing modified, so I'm not saying who is or who isn't gonna, but there's the opportunity, and Phil did do the trifecta modified race the first time. So so my guess, maybe he would be doing double duty, but don't quote me. I don't want someone to show up to New Paris on Saturday and be like, well, Lewis said online that
we do not speak for Bozell, the Bozell Motorsports.
Just saying what they have done to this point. And then, but if you cannot make it for whatever reason, obviously with Reveal the Hammer series being there, it will be on Racing America, which the program starts at 5 p.m. with single car qualifying for the Outlaw late models. Matt Prier will be on the call, and then for the New Paris sanction races, trifecta and the late models, Jeremy Wardinger will be on the call. I have permission from Reveal the Hammer management to do what I do, so I'll be on the roof too. If anybody knows somebody who wants to help collect cameras in the pit area, make sure that you get in on Saturday at New Paris with me to help with that. I don't need help turning them on. I'll be on the track myself to do that. But in the pit area, it would be nice if I had an extra body to help with that. So if you know anybody or you're interested, let me know. And then obviously we talked about championship weekend coming up between M40 and Kalamazoo. Birch Run has a World Series with Drew Jack and the National Compacts heading over to Birch Run tomorrow. Today's Thursday. So tomorrow. So lots of opportunity for that. But don't forget to come back for the Monday Night Rewind this Monday. We're back on and hoping to finalize. I'm going to be resending the messages I talked with John Boy in person about this Monday. But talk about some tri-state sprints and get them on here. And then Buju, it won't be this Monday, but I talked with ELH Detailing because we're getting ready to launch another giveaway here. I talked about with Eddie bringing him on, and he also brought up they have a studio that's very similar to Bubba's About Broke podcast. They have a really fancy studio. I said maybe we host an upcoming show, the Monday Night Rewind, from the ELH Detailing studios there. So potential, we'll see how it goes there. But otherwise, the Monday Night Rewind is back this Monday. And then I do want to do, before I forget, the driver spotlight. So this segment is brought to you by Sabrina BB Photography. Don't forget that you can also nominate a driver of the week. We are running out of Thursday shows, so I will be switching this, and we'll definitely include it on a Monday as a quick little segment break. between guests, we'll make sure to squeeze it in to recognize drivers for their 2026 accomplishments. And so I definitely want to engage Bree mode. Bree Brady in the 24. She just won her championship over at the Galesburg Speedway. So really excited. And I believe Bo Brady too. And I know Tina Lewis, she's been watching. She can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Bo Brady also won the street stocks. That came down to the very, very end between Chris Garrett, Colin Bozell, and Bo Brady. And Bo Brady, I believe, is your street stock champion over at Galesburg. So again, a lot of champions crowned. Jerry Pierman and his son Hunter Pierman cleaned up this weekend. Jerry Pierman won the late model championship at Galesburg, and his son Hunter won the senior championship in the mini wedges over at Kalamazoo. So the Piermans swept the weekend. So lots of championships to go around and just a few more to settle. So, yep. So it was bow time and Bree mode engaged fully at Galesburg Speedway. Next week, Boujou, I know they have a night of destruction this week, but next week they have the Adam on September 5th. They have the Van Avery Memorial Race for street stocks, 2,200 something to win. I'll have to look again, but so if you know street stock racers who are looking for one big show, but to also honor Brad and Adam Van Avery, definitely head up to Galesburg Speedway on Saturday. I want to say it's September 5th. Braden Loop, youngest to win at Galesburg too. So again, just a lot to go around over at Galesburg. They just crowned a bunch of champions. So, but if you know street stock racers, you're looking for a big street stock race, you got another chance to come up to Galesburg and race at the quarter mile there for big money. So other than that, we're 6 minutes over our normal time that we end. We usually end by about 8:15 for the Thursday night, but obviously we covered Kenny Head's big show on Sunday for the quick silver showdown. That's a lot of QSS. And then obviously talked Motorhead Miller, but we also got a chance to talk with Benny about points racing too. So other than that, can you think of anything else that's good for the group?
No, sir.
All
Get out
right.
to a racetrack this weekend, everybody. You better be at a racetrack this weekend. There's as many shows that are going on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can go to a racetrack all three if you want to. You better go at least once, or else I'll find you.
Yep. Well, we're running out of chances. We're closer to snow than we are spring flowers. Yes. I mean, think about that. We're closer, and these tracks could use all the help. I know sometimes people think that they're all rolling in riches and all that, and I promise you they're not. No. Chris and Tracy have been putting in long hours at New Paris to get ready for their big show. They originally thought that this was going to be their off weekend, but they got it at the beginning of the month. So they've had big show after big show after big show after big show, which they would have had at the opposite direction if they'd started that way, but they would have had a chance to breathe by the end of August. Instead, now they're sprinting to the end of August. And then they still have a couple more events in September and October at New Paris, but there's only so many more opportunities to get there. Last chance to get to Corrigan Oil this Sunday. Final chance until Super Shoe to see cars turn left at Kalamazoo. Obviously, I'll try to get on Johnny or someone for our last weekly Thursday Night Throttle next week. Maybe someone from M40 can talk about the Indiana-Michigan Challenge next week. Maybe get Johnny Russell or Bill or Megan or Penny. Penny hasn't been on yet. Somebody to talk about it. Because they have the Indiana-Michigan Challenge. Otherwise, the Russell's season is coming to close too. And so you're running out of opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's hard to believe. I mean, we're already talking championships. And I was confirmed earlier, Drew Jack was in here. There's 4 points that separates Josh Fry and who was it? Josh Fry and somebody else. 27, Jerry Osterhaus. They've been battling all year. I think they're even now in feature wins too. And then Mason and Jared are coming down to the wire. The feature will help determine that champion. I feel bad for Jared. He spun out the last time we were out, and that really was the difference because he finished towards the back. So that took I want to say it was a 4-point lead to kind of a deficit, but there's still a feature to be raced tomorrow. So obviously people will be calculating and watching those points. Matthew Elsey Jr. with the throwout night has the A feature or A group locked up though, Riley Auto Parts. So that's not up for grabs, but the B and C are still in play. And then the street stocks, I think, are pretty close to determined too, but we still got to go race. So anything can happen on any given night, right?
Absolutely.
So other than that, okay, I have Dalton Irish in my head.
There you go.
All right, Buju, it's almost time to turn left and go fast because
We'll see you at the races.
see everyone.